Hello fellas, welcome back. I've came to Auto Bionics with Steve. Now, we came here, was it about a year ago, Steve, I was last down?
I think it's longer than that.
Longer than that? Year and a half maybe?
Maybe 2 years.
Maybe it's 2 years. But Steve started a project. He's basically bought a brand new Cosworth shell and he's putting a Ford V6, is it twin turbo?
Yeah.
What's the engine code?
It's EcoBoost, 3.5 litre EcoBoost.
EcoBoost out of a
F-150 Raptor.
F-150 Raptor engine. He's putting the engine into a standard Sierra Cosworth shell, and your plan was to do it without modifying the shell.
Exactly. Yeah.
Have you still managed to stick with that?
There's 2 or 3 holes I've had to put in extra, and that's
just
only,
little holes.
Yeah, 6mm, and that's only because of the second airbox that I've needed to put on.
But you've never modified the gearbox tunnel because you're running a PDK gearbox.
It's running a DCT, which is the Getrag DCT. I was adamant I didn't want to change any of the body shell.
Right.
Because it's probably not so much of a problem on an older car, but a brand new shell, I just think it's sacrilege anyway to do that. So yeah, so everything's designed, and to be fair, where everything's been positioned now, I didn't need to do it even if I had to. You know, I didn't have to work around the problem. It all kind of naturally fell into place. So so engine and gearbox wise, they're all now what we call indexed to the chassis. So you know, it's in position now, it's final position.
Looks mint in there, mind, that engine bay.
Yeah, well, you know, it's sat on, it's got a new cross member in, because these engines are actually quite tall, and the last thing I wanted to do was to change the bonnet. You know, so I've had to keep the height of the engine just below the underside of the bonnet, but enough clearance so it doesn't knock or rub. But then unfortunately what it does, because there's such a big sump on these engines, I had to then change the cross member. But I thought I could get away with using the standard sump on this engine, but when I looked at it hard, I thought, nah, I'm going to have to make a new sump pan for it as well.
Right.
So I designed a new sump, made it all out of billet. If anybody who follows the page, they'll see that was one of the posts that I did, God, months ago. So it's a winged sump, it's baffled, so it's new cross member, new sump pan, so all the clearances are now in there. The other thing I had to do was drop the steering rack, because that would have then fouled on the sump pan as well.
Right.
But by dropping the rack, you then got to modify, you know, the ends near the hub, so you don't end up with loads of bump steer problems. So that's all still to dial in, shall we say, but that's a tomorrow problem.
So does the bonnet still close, even with, because that looks like it's quite...
Yeah, it still closes, yeah, it's quite...
close.
Yeah, you think you can get a finger's width between them.
Can you?
And I've always said, you know, if you can get a finger's width, and you know, it's pretty rigidly mounted anyway, the engine, it'll be fine. But this relocation, because on the standard EcoBoost, that throttle body there bolts directly to the plenum.
Right.
But as you can imagine, if that was up there, that you definitely have an interface issue. So I've had to redesign the throttle relocation. So that elbow there's a 3D print part. And what it also does is, because it's dropped it down, I've had to miss the thermostat housing there.
Right, is that for you, obviously your coolant?
For coolant, yeah. So it's been dog-legged over, and then it's dog-legged back, so that the actual exit of the intercooler is in the centre of the intercooler.
Right.
So it basically comes out and does this. So it's just one of those things you have to do.
Looks mint. I like these airboxes as well, because that looks like a standard Sierra Cosworth airbox. With that is the inlet
that is
on
the cool air inlet on mine, but it's the outlet on a standard Cosworth. Because if you
that's right.
It comes out and it goes straight into the inlet of the turbo there, doesn't it? On that light hose.
Browny orange hose. So that would be an outlet on a Cosworth where it's an inlet in yours.
Yeah. Well, what I started with these is the old MO of this project was to make it look production, so that I didn't want any obvious aftermarket parts. So the airboxes, I thought, well, to hark back to the original car, just to try and keep that look and copy that look. So the original airbox I scanned in, and then I produced a 3D model of the original airbox, but then I had to change where the inlet and outlet connections were because of this installation. So to keep the look, I thought, well, I'll make that the cold air inlet, and then I'll just flow the air the other way through the K&N filter that I'm going to use. So I spoke to K&N and said, look, I'm thinking of reverse flowing through one of your standard filters. Is it fine? He says, yeah, absolutely, as long as it's a new one, this, that and the other. So it uses standard K&N filters, it uses all the standard clips, you know, these are white at the moment, but they'll end up getting painted. Well, they get dyed first and then they get painted. And then the outlet, or which is now the turbo inlet, is at the bottom. So I don't know if you
down
can
there.
see it. That's it there, yeah. And these are the inlet to the turbo. So these are fabricated parts.
Do you make these yourself?
Yeah. But what I did is, you know, all the bores are matched. So you've got nice, you know, laminar flow going through there. So you've no turbulent flow or any steps in there to cause issues. But again, these will all get coated once they're
black.
Yeah, yeah. But these are the inlet air temperature sensor.
All right.
So it monitors air inlet temperature, and then there's one on the outlet as well. So you can actually see how well the charge cooler's performing, the inlet temperature and outlet temperature. And then there's another one on the engine itself, it goes in there, which is a manifold pressure and temperature, and it uses that then to control turbo boost. Because these are electronic wastegates on this Gen 2 Raptor engine. So really controllable, it's all done on electronics, it's not done by air pressure like on the old Fords, you know, the old Cozzies. You just had a reference air pipe going to the wastegate actuator. Well, this is all done electronically. It's all, you'd find that every car now is probably on electronic wastegates. So
amazing.
So the actual air system's done. So from, you know, taking the air from the inside of the grille. So these scoops are the air intakes. So I've positioned them so that it kind of, you can't see it, but there's going to be a couple of screws in there, so it ties the top of the charge cooler. And then, so obviously you've got your grille there with the RS500 spoiler. You've got this air intake there, so you've got nice cool air coming into the engine bay. It goes straight into the air intakes, into the air boxes through the filters. And also, in fact, we'll take one of these off, because what I've done is, just because you can, these, I put velocity stacks in, in there, because the 3D print parts, you know, why not incorporate them? And what these do is it straightens the airflow, so you've got a nice straight laminar flow going into the turbocharger. You could argue, is it really necessary? But whilst ever you're designing a part, you may as well design that in right from the start. And you'll find lots of OEM airboxes. BMW always do it. You know, if we did a project a long time ago with a S85 V10 engine, and if you looked in the airbox in there, they all had these flow straighteners or velocity stacks in there. So it's yeah, it's just nice to be able to do that kind of thing.
Your quality of work as well, man. Like these little brackets you've made and everything, they're just everything's so nicely done.
I could have just made them out of bits of pipe and silicone ores and Jubilee clips. But
no,
it wouldn't look right. So
it looks better than what a car manufacturer would do.
Yeah, well, what a car manufacturer, they'd tool up and they'd just injection mould a load of plastic parts, wouldn't they, and just clip. They'll all be on quick release clips, and you know, because they're making thousands of them. But so it's a fine balance in trying to get that production look, but you know, actually being sensible about it as well. But these are, you know, this is all 6061 aluminium tube. It's all cut, you know, using forged bends. So these are elbows that you just, I don't know if I've got any look. Well, they're all elbows, but you just start with elbows and straight tube, and then you just slowly build it together.
TIG it together.
TIG weld it, yeah.
Can we have a look inside it, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's not a lot going on in here, apart from electronic power steering and just mocking up to put the shift paddles in.
Can I sit in?
Yeah, go in. Yeah, the pedals are a bit, in fact,
I'm trying to grab a steering wheel, it's not there.
Yeah, so that's just the mock-up at the moment, you know, just on really flimsy temporary brackets, but it's to get your clearance between your fingers, you know, on the switch gear. And then the column itself, I need to make the column. I've made the bottom section of the column, but the top section needs remaking, but as I mentioned earlier, I need to make it with a collapsible section in
case you crash.
Obvious safety reasons, yeah.
Does that go on there?
I think steering lock might be.
Have you tried it with the steering wheel on?
Yeah, I need to extend the column, because
So the paddles don't
So,
catch.
Yeah, exactly. So they only need to be clear because those paddles they don't move very far, just to upshift and downshift, and then that's it really. You'll have a stick in the middle similar to what you'll find in a BMW M3 because that's what the gearbox
Like
is.
the little.
Yeah, that's all will be in there, and you can shift gears on the lever or put it into different drive modes. Sport, drive, auto, manual, all those types of things. But yeah, that pedal there is actually out of a Sierra Auto.
That is it?
Yeah, that big thing where you got your foot on. I thought, well, I don't need the clutch pedal anymore, so I'll just change the brake pedal for a big brake pedal.
Big
out of the
one.
Auto.
Class.
And then I used the DC Electronics micro steer power steering motor, and then just adapt it to fit into this shell.
I can't wait to see it done, mind.
Yeah, like I say, I think last time you were here, I said I'd have it done in 4 months or something. It was just like, oh man, but the amount of stuff that I've had to deal with over the last 2 years with, I think everybody's had a bit of
COVID
a time and stuff. It's just been, we modified all the building and, all of that side of the business side of things to sort out.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to put stuff in priority order, and unfortunately this kind of just started dropping down the priority list. But
So this car, right, is kind of like the prototype, isn't it? Then once you've got it running, driving, and you're happy with how it's going, you're then going to put everything into this brand new shell.
Well, I might actually,
As things changing.
yeah, because this shell is,
I'll just turn this camera around so I
yeah. Well, this shell's going for paint in July this year.
Right? White.
It's Moonstone.
Moonstone. You're going Moonstone, are you?
Yeah. And I think that's because I'm rekindling my time when I actually had a Moonstone 3-door.
I like Moonstone. To be honest, it's not a bad colour in a 3-door, is there?
No,
I like the white.
They're
the black.
all really, really good colours, and you're splitting hairs as to which one's the best one, and everybody's got a preference, haven't they? But no, this one's going for paint in July. So what I might do, because it's taken a lot longer than I thought, because all MOTs run out on this and everything, so I can hardly MOT this at the moment, is now I've got all the mechanical hardware and everything positioned, I know I'll be confident to build it into this car now. So what I might do is, once it's in paint, I'll just transfer everything and then get it running in this shell. We'll see how it goes, but I've got probably 4 or 5 months to actually get this up and running, which it's doable, because that's kind of really the next stage on that. I need to get the water side done, get the water system plumbed in. I ain't bothered about steering column and things like that, but just to get it to talk to us, that's the next step. And then obviously get the electronics sorted to get the engine controller to talk to the gearbox controller and actually get drive to the wheels. So all of the mechanical stuff's done, all the prop shafts made, and it's all connected up. There's an exhaust system to make, but all the downpipes are made now. I was originally going to use the old exhaust system off that and just connect into it, but I think I'm going to end up making it end to end.
You should make 2. You should leave that, get that one built up and leave it.
Yeah,
then
make
just
another one. Yeah.
make another one, because you've already done one. So you.
Yeah, I could do, but I don't know. Like uniqueness,
So are you going to put those wheels? Are obviously 17-inch.
Yes.
You've designed, built those wheels yourself.
Yes,
They were
those,
originally 15-inch. Are you going to put those wheels on this car?
On this car, yeah. I think last time you was here, we were just talking about having a great idea to make wheels, and anyway, so that's something I have done in the 2 years or whatever. So those wheels are 17-inch versions of the original 3-door RS 500 wheel.
Have you got an original wheel? We can put it next to put it inside.
Yeah, some round here.
Quite a difference, isn't there? I've never liked the standard 3-door. Like I like the look of the 3-door wheel, but they've always looked too small, and the offset was wrong for me. And
Well, with that profile of tyre, what's on there, and this, the diameter, that's 10 mil bigger on diameter. So it's only
on the tyre, top of the tyre.
So the actual diameter of the whole tyre and wheel assembly. So it's only 5 mil on radius, So the actual height of the car is only 5 mil higher than it would be if it was on these. So, but the thing is, it's this profile, the sidewall profile, obviously, that makes the difference. So the actual, like I say, physical aspects of a 17-inch wheel versus 15 isn't too different, just the look. And I think, I've always said that I always struggled with the size of the wheels on a...
What, the standard ones, the 15-inch
I
ones?
just think they look too small.
They do?
For a modern day. And it's probably because we see modern cars now with big wheels on all the time, don't we? So I thought, well, why don't we have a bash at making some 17-inch versions?
Do you think you'll sell these in the future?
I will do. I'll sell, but I want to try and keep these fairly unique to this car.
Right.
Because, to be honest with you, the car's getting quite a lot of interest as well. It's good for my business as well in what I can do as a business, you know, reverse engineering and doing like bespoke odd projects like this. I really enjoy doing it. But we'll see. But I want to try and get the car built because I don't want to be a wheel manufacturer. I want to be a design engineer making nice bespoke parts for people, you know. So the thing is, you know, you take a concept, you do all of the hard work, and then the final product, you know, it speaks for itself really. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with those. I think they look really nice on the car. Like I say, it's sat on ride-out blocks at the moment. I just want to get the ride-out sorted, and then I'll do all the final clearance checks, so make sure that, you know, it'll go lock to lock, it doesn't rub on the inside. You know, the offset of these wheels actually 40mm, so it's the same as the originals. So I know that they don't rub on standard arches. You know, these arches haven't been cut, so I know that they don't rub. And that's one thing I wanted to do. I didn't want to, you know, if I did sell them, anybody's then going to have to chop away at the car to make it. It's just not what I just don't want to do that. So yeah, so they've turned out pretty good. So that's one success for the project so far.
Can we show some of your parts what you've been buying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So these are some of the parts to go on your car, Steve?
Over the months, you know, especially through COVID, you spend a lot of time looking on the internet and talking to people, you know. So I've been slowly collecting parts for that body shell that I knew would be difficult to find, but I knew I needed. My original intention was to take the mule to pieces, the white car to pieces, and then transfer lots of the components onto there. But then, you know, you see the price of these cars going up and up and up, and you think, well, if I can buy parts and not rob them off there, that could be another project at some point, whether it's a restoration project or what, either for me or for somebody else, I don't know. So I started to collect parts, you know, for this final car for me. Like I mentioned before, it's going to look like a RS500, so I've got RS500 parts on it. You know, I managed to find some genuine boilers, arches. We've got a new set of 3-door arches up there.
Well, you saying you got a lot of your bits from Paul, weren't you?
Yeah, Paul's helped me out a lot, so, you know, really grateful to him for helping out. So new side skirts. There's 2 new rear inner door cards there. That's a new set of 3-door glass.
So you've got all brand new splitters and RS500 splitters and
two RS500 splitters, one second hand, one new. A couple of scuttle panels. Like I say, all hard to find bits.
Everything's hard to find now, though.
Yeah, these again, got those from Paul. Those are the rear window trims and the
new headlights. I've always fancied new headlights in mine.
Yeah,
mine are just a bit stone chipped and.
Yeah. So original.
No, I like them.
You know.
Not all nice chrome and everything in them.
Yeah, and they've got the right backs on with different colour backs on and.
Must be 500-600 quid for a set of them, is it?
Yeah, I didn't give them away. You know, you're really excited when you find them, but then you're really dejected because you've emptied your bank account or you've lost another kidney. You know. But so bits of interior trim.
So full set of seats as well. Oh, they're nice condition as well. Them mind.
Yeah, this one's a bit. That's a really nice one.
Better than mine.
A bit of a clean up. Rear seats. There's 2 3-door dashes there, but they're both cracked. In fact, one of them isn't mine. I borrowed one of them. Because what I want to do is, no matter how hard you look, you never find an original 3-door dash that isn't repaired and isn't a bit saggy or cracked.
Nah, they're all knackered now, aren't they? They weren't built the last 35 years.
In fact, the only ones I've seen in really good condition are in race cars. And you just think, well, you never take
just sit in a unit all its life.
Yeah. Anyway, so I thought, well, I was looking at how these are constructed, and you know, it's only compressed hardboard or cardboard. That's that's half the problems with them now. But they're just stapled together. So air ducting. So all the strength, should I say, in the dash is how the component parts are bonded together or stapled together. And then you've got that piece of folded sheet steel there that adds a bit of rigidity to the bottom of the dash. So I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, that can't be too hard to remake that, So I thought, well, I'll pull one apart, a knackered one, because that won't be warped or that. Do some scanning work, and then actually look at making some tooling to make the dash shells, as I call them. And then, because I don't want that vinyl finish on the interior of my new car, I'm not really bothered about vinyl wrapping them. So what I'll probably end up doing is I'll trim it in Napa leather, because the interior is going to be slightly different, and then I'll copy that theme on the door cards, maybe some new Recaro seats and stuff. So I kind of bought these because they're kind of like they were there when I was collecting some other bits, but I probably won't use them.
No, just sell them on.
I'll probably just sell them on.
Probably make a few quid on them as well by now, the way the prices have gone.
Yeah, but things like, I might have to use the rear seats and just get them refurbished and then get them retrimmed in whatever I use eventually,
That's one thing I love about the 3-door, the patterns on the seats. I love
That's
the pattern
exactly.
on it. It's absolutely.
Well, I found a supplier which is very similar material to this dark grey.
All right.
And you can actually get that remade if you make about 500 metres.
What, the pattern?
Yeah.
You can get it remade, can you?
Yeah, there's a couple of companies who would make them, but they have like a minimum order. And you just think, well, I ain't going to use 500 metres.
500's a canny bit of 500 metres, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think what I'll do is, like I say, because the exterior of the car, I love the look of an original car. So I want to keep the exterior absolutely as it was in the 80s, obviously with the bigger wheels on. But the interior, I'm not too precious about, because that vinyl look and that squeaky, what they all have, it drives me nuts, that. So I'll look at probably remaking a dash shell, having that covered in leather, and then I'll probably look at remaking door cards as well, both front and rear. But the problem with that is these are what the high resistance welded.
Right.
And it's a fancy machine that does that. What I'll probably do is I'll probably use some of that cloth out of a set of tatty seats, because it's never usually middle that wears out on
to bolsters, isn't it, getting in and out the car?
Yeah, exactly.
Where your bum rubs.
I'll incorporate that pattern into something, so that when you get in the car, it's obviously not an original interior, but it's got that lineage back to the original interior.
So you just want something kind of a bit more modern and comfort and...
Yeah, well, the dashboard itself is going to be a digital dash. I've already designed that, so it'll look like an analog set of clocks, but it'll all be digital. And then the centre console,
kind of like a modern BMW.
Yeah, that type of thing, but not gaudy. It'll still have the original rev counter, boost gauge, speedometer.
Be interesting to see, man. I can't wait it's done.
But just because it was there, the rear discs.
I think someone's remaking them now.
There's original Ford ones. Look.
Are they stamped with a Ford part number anywhere?
Yeah, it should be.
Oh, it is. It's got a Ford number on.
What else have we got? Grills. I'll probably use grills for where spotlights go on.
RS500 grills.
RS4, and then there's a brand new ECU cover dash on there.
Is that from Paul?
No, I got this from a guy up in Scotland.
Can I ask what you paid for it? Just out of interest, more than anything.
I can't remember how much I individually paid for it, because I bought a load of parts.
Right.
But like I say, I was like a kid in a candy shop when I were up there buying it. Then I was driving home thinking,
I'm skint.
I'm going to tell the wife. Yeah, that we can't go out and we're on baked beans and toast for a fortnight. But no, it's
horrible dipping into a pot of money, isn't it?
Well, it is, but you've always got to think, well, it'll sell. And
you're not losing money on the part, you're just kind of putting the money into something.
Like these, in a splash gas for that. Second hand ones, you can't buy them now new, so they'll clean up as long as they've still got some
bit
flex.
Rub down, a bit of paint on.
Yeah, like I say, give a good scrub and a bit of
rattle can.
Yeah, just to tidy them up. But so there's those there. Got that new headlining as well, but I don't know what.
All right.
I'll like I say,
has it been recovered?
No, it's an original one.
Is it?
But
I found somewhere with a cloth, local to me.
Yeah, to be honest, I'd actually, in fact, when I went down Birmingham to pick up a 15-inch lattice wheel that I was going to use for scanning, and this guy who was selling this was literally next door to that place. So I thought, I'll just kill two birds with one stone and pick it up. But I'll probably end up, the interior of my car, it'd probably be a darker colour than that. Cause I think
a bit more of a modern, like dark grey, or maybe it's black.
I'll probably make, I don't know, maybe Alcantara or something like that. And then all like the A post, B post and C post will probably be Alcantara as well. So that's why, like I say, I'm not too precious about keeping the interior of the car looking exactly as it did in the 80s.
It'd be nice to see a nice modern twist on it.
Yeah, I think it'll be different. You know, maybe not to everybody's taste, but
so standard car's not my taste. Everyone's got. I like it.
Exactly.
I like a nice set of wheels and load and
exactly. Yeah, you know,
different strokes for different folks, isn't it?
You know, it's standard cars I still think are really, really nice, but I wouldn't buy a standard car to drive around in.
No,
I'd buy a car and do what I'm doing to it and drive around in it, definitely, because you know, that's just kind of the stuff I do. You know.
Cool. That's it, fellas. Thanks for watching, and thanks to Steve for having us down. If you want to follow along with the build a bit more in depth, Steve's got a Facebook page. I'll leave a link to that below. RSR 500, Steve, is it?
That's it, yeah.
If you search Facebook?
Yeah, you'll find it. Yeah.
I'll also leave a link below, fellas, like I say. I'll also leave a link to my Instagram. But yeah, again, thanks for watching. And thanks for having us down, Steve.
No, that's no problem.
Can't wait for the first drive.
Yeah, let's go in 4 months, shall we?
Thanks for watching though, fellas. I'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers.
Spot on, mate.
No worries.
Spot on.